I'm not tied to that fucking device. That's not the fucking. That's not life. Is not that.
No. That should be locked in a fucking box when you don't need it.
It kills me off, and I'm fully addicted to it, and super aware of the fact that I'm addicted to it.
So I used to hide so much stuff from like Emily, and then like,
in regard to what?
Just how we're feeling.
Should you put that on your woman? Like I don't like it when she says, "Oh, you're not happy at me or this, that, and the other." I don't like that. But then I don't want to burden her too much with like actually what is going on in the fucking dome.
That's the same mindset.
There could be a shotgun in mouth any minute. Probably never heal, might probably fall off any moment.
That ear could fall off.
You think?
It's good you've got that headset on.
Don't scare me because I'll be thinking about that.
It could.
Why?
The thing I do like about living over there is, because I don't really know anybody apart from her brother, who I only see like once a week I'll do a bit of sparring with, or on a weekend, I've got no distractions whatsoever. Like when I'm over here, it's not exactly a distraction when I used to come up here, but like let's say if I went down to Jacob's or went somewhere with Kringle, for at least 3 or 4 times a week I've got a bit of a distraction going on, whereas over there I'm just locked in right now. So.
And what are you saying you're locked in on?
So I'm trying to follow Dan's like 4-hour work day at the moment.
Yeah.
So I'm locked in. I've just finished that writing course. So now, if you'll be able to tell at the moment, because I've only really started these last couple of days, but my content's going to start getting knocked out now. I've just paid for that cohort course, which is going to start next month. So that'll be zoned in. And then apart from that, a lot of OnlyFans stuff. Obviously, I've got the boys advising me on what I should be posting on my social media, my OnlyFans. And they're working with a guy called Harry Davis in Dubai. And he's a fucking... I've watched his YouTube. He's like a 7-figure earner living out in the...
Keep that bad boy close to you.
And just the systems they've got for social media, like having SOPs and stuff like that for like how many posts and stuff you should be doing. I've got to give them 30 posts a week, reels and stuff like that. So I'm going to basically turn into a bit of a content machine. So I'm just locked in on that at the moment, and obviously just got fight news, so prepping for that.
Go on, let's dive into that then.
Joe Calzaghe's son,
Good
Conor
name.
Calzaghe.
Good boxing surname.
Good name for me to be against, but I think it's going to be a bad one for him and his family name. His dad's unbeaten. I think he's 30-0 or 40-0 as a pro. And now his son's going to come in and tarnish the family name, getting beat by an OnlyFans guy.
Talkers, go back a little bit. How's that manifested then? So has Warren been able to set that up? Because the opponent initially wasn't Conor. So
no, we spoke about fighting Rory Sinnott. He's too heavy. He's like approaching 90 kilo. He couldn't do it. And he's a sound guy as well, so I don't think he were up for like doing all the online beef stuff. And the reason why that didn't happen is because Andrew Tate said to him, "We can get you a bigger fight." So Andrew Tate's obviously seen some footage and like heard of the name, and he's like, "Oh, we'll get you a bigger fight than an OnlyFans guy," which is fair enough. I agree. But we move, and we're now fighting Conor Calzaghe. I can't find no tape on him, so I'm not sure how much fight experience he's got. But he's a professional boxing coach, so any footage I've got on him is like him holding pads or him doing pads. There's not really much out there, but I know exactly what's gone on, right? His dad I've found some news articles from his dad saying that he don't want his sons to follow in his footsteps. So I think they've got into coaching instead. They probably just coach kids. Never really fought, but now influencer boxing's come on scene. He's probably like, "Oh, I'll go in there and I'll just smash some influencer up." He's been given a name, he's an OnlyFans guy, podcast host, and he's gone, yeah. But just like my last 3 or 4 opponents, they go on there, they see fucking OnlyFans stuff and like me just acting like a dickhead on X Factor and doing podcasts, and they just underestimate me. And all my other fights, I've not really like took it madly serious, whereas now I've got 8 weeks.
So go over that last opponent, Juan.
Bro, I saw Juan on Saturday.
Did you?
I went to that FCC show.
What are you there?
You were there, he was security. He came up to me, tapped me on the shoulder, but we were sat... We had his own little OnlyFans section, so basically Adam Tay, who runs FCC, had got in touch with me a week or 2 before, and he's like, "Can you organise some OnlyFans people to come?" So I was like, "Yeah, I'll see what I can do." But it was a bit short notice, so I didn't really get many people there. So we had his own little section. It was ringside, cage side, but it wasn't the best seats. So this guy came out from Manchester, and all of his team were like super ringside, like all of his mates, and they were like, "Bo, bo, bo, bo," when it like... Mad shit, mate. Like, I've never seen out like that before at a fight. He won the fight and they were there like trashing the place, smashing all fences down. They all got booted out. So me and boys like, "Let's go fucking sit there." So we sat down for like 5 minutes. Then I just seen security come out, call me. I thought, "Fuck's sake, I'm going to get called to move here." It's big one.
Big one. Did he have sleeves rolled up a bit?
No, but he had a big security jacket on. So like, looked quite subtle. And he talked a bit about fighting. Like, "Oh, boxing's not my game. You were too strong." I said, "To be fair, mate, you fucking give me a good fight. I underestimated you." Boy, it was good to see Big Wan. But yeah, the last fight, bro, compared to what I'm going to be like for this one,
So what changes there then? Explain that to me and someone who's watching.
So I'm training properly with boxing coaches now. Like Daryl's a professional boxing coach, but whenever I've done pads with Daryl, it's just been like going through motion, having a bit of workout. He sees that I've got my own way and he just lets me work on it. Whereas what I really want to do is fight like an amateur boxer, just on your toes all the time, in and out, drawing them in. And I kind of figured this out yesterday when I went sparring with Warren. So his gym's Mould ABC in Wales, and his coach was sound as fuck. So me and Warren did 8 rounds. His coach were in his corner, and then the second coach were in my corner giving me tips. And I could feel, bear in mind I'm like 89 kilos anyway, I could feel I was a bit heavy on my feet. And that's just how I've been K1, flat-footed and ready to throw kicks. But I want to be on my toes and be able to bounce and move about and just be nice and light, which I will be when I'm at 75 kilo anyway. And I'm going to drill some footwork stuff, but it was like telling me little things that you should know as an amateur, like turn your body more side on so you're like more narrow, so you're not so open, squared on like this. And like you need to be bouncing in and out of your toes. And that shit was just, it's basic stuff and I just didn't have it. And if I didn't get a proper boxing coach, an amateur boxing coach now, I'd just keep doing my bad things.
Fall back into your normal routine.
I know I would. So I just need an amateur coach to be like, no, you're fucking doing it all wrong. Start from here.
Does an amateur boxing coach look at your frame, your length, your reach, or does it just try and put you in a sort of robotic style, if that makes sense?
No, he took into consideration that I'm a southpaw, I'm tall and rangy, and he's like, because if you want to see me spar recently, but I've got this habit now. I'll cover up like this and I'll like move in, but it's when I'm sparring against people like Emily's brother who ain't got that much experience, because I know they're probably intimidated by me coming forward like that. And he's like, why are you doing that? Like, you're long, stand on your back foot, keep your chin down and back and use the arm to play with them. Then, because you're a southpaw and they're orthodox, you keep messing with them until they come in, then throw you straight down middle, which I do anyway, I counter like that. But when he puts it into a perspective and he's like, sit on your back foot and stay out of there, stop trying to hunt people down. That's what I feel like. That's what I've got a bit of an habit doing now. We're doing it with Warren. I was just walking down, and then he might catch me on the way out or stuff like that. So he definitely takes like the frame into consideration. So I don't know if I'm going to go train over there because it's Wales. It's like an hour's
trek,
journey
that,
for me.
isn't it?
Yeah, but there's like amateur boxing gyms there. There's like Warrington ABC, Lee ABC. So there's a few gyms there, and then S&C wise, there's Tyson Fury's strength and conditioning coach who trains at my gym, Christian, and I've got him on social media. So I might contact him, but I don't want him to be like, yeah, I'll do it. It's $1,000 a week. It's just not attainable.
I can't see it being that, can you?
I mean, if he's Tyson Fury's S&C coach, though. So,
I hadn't seen you since the AJ fight. I'm taking it you watched that.
So I watched the full card, but then when it got to midnight,
Fell asleep.
I said to Sam, I was like, mate, I can't stay up because the ring walk's going to be an hour. Then the fight, it's probably going to go at full distance. Then I woke up next day, put it on YouTube, and I saw it thumbnail. I'm like, fucking no, where's he knocked him out? Mate, madness. Didn't expect it whatsoever, but it makes total sense. I feel like I go off people's last performances, me, and you kind of overestimate, and then you think, fucking hell, he's just done that to Tyson Fury, one of the best in the world. But then you don't think about Tyson not really taking his camp serious and how serious AJ's team are going to be. AJ's team would have watched all Ngannou's fight footage 20 times over to realise, yeah, you fucking...
He seems to be like that, AJ. Like, I think I'm not saying he's misunderstood, because he does have that sort of bad side to him. But I think he's a student of the sport.
Yeah.
He watches all tape, and I'm not just saying he's watching tape just on the fighting. He's watching like on the demeanour and how they act, what they do, and all stuff like that. Because did you see, which was strange, like the build up to it? He brought out who did the post recently? It'll come to me, his name. But he said, I don't know if you watched the build up where they were doing sort of acting in the ring,
and
like putting the punches to each other and then falling down and all stuff like this. And he was saying there, which were quite a valid point, that the old rivalries have disappeared. You know, of boxing were sort of built up on that. You know, like Ben Eubank and people who couldn't probably be in the same room as each other.
Yeah,
sort of gone out of it now. But my point being with AJ there, I do think he's a student of the game and understands all that. And I think he knew that was probably going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. He won't surprise.
Because he kept he changed his stance a couple of times, did Ngannou, which I'm surmising you know more than me about boxing. You can't be doing that as a novice, surely, against someone like AJ.
AJ just picked straight up, and he probably just thought, like, what?
It was just a straight right hand, wasn't it? That finished it.
Both times, and then just... I mean, when you watch it back, have you seen people saying it was fake, bro?
Well, I watched...
Danny Mitchell's
Danny Mitchell's sort of response to all
Danny
that.
Mitchell's like take on it there is perfect. But I've seen so many videos of people actually talking through it. Like, look at this. You can see that the punch barely took. I'm like, no, the fucking punch knocks him out. Nobody's, even Emily's brother, even Lewis Tierney, the guy who I went to FCC, he was like, no, Jake Paul's last fight against, not his last fight, but his fight against... the
ex-champ.
Yeah,
Tyron Woodley.
Tyron Woodley, that's the one. You're like, that, bro, that's fake. It's set up. He's like, did you not see it when he's like signaling? I went, bro, that you only see that signal on the slowed down version. Do you think that he's gone to him, right, yeah, when I do this, drop your hand and I'm going to knock you out?
And everyone has little quirks.
Yeah.
He fought this weekend, Dustin Poirier's always messing around with his shorts.
And on top of that, the setup that Jake Paul used to knock him out was jab to body, jab to head, straight to body, and then he went to do it again, faked the jab, looked down and threw an overhand and caught him. I'm like, bro, there's no way Tyron Woodley's taking money to take a dive like that. It's not happening. But as soon as we're on the fucking topic of boxing, what about Jake Paul and Tyson?
Well, I saw some bullshit about him wearing
exhibition rules,
but I don't think it's going to be like that.
Do you not think?
No, I don't think. I definitely don't think they'll wear head guards.
I don't know, man.
Can you see him wearing head guards?
I think so.
I'd still watch it.
Oh, look, it's free on Netflix. 100% watch it. I was just watching Impulsive on way down here then, and their take on it's funny. They were pretty much taking piss out of Jake, even though it's his brother and friends of Mike Malak. But I mean, I get why the fuck would you not want to fight Mike Tyson on Netflix and get a fucking huge payday? But
imagine if all this is scripted, though.
Don't, bro, because you know what I was thinking on my way down here? I'm like, I need to stop being a conspiracy theorist.
It's not a conspiracy, it's smart business that, like, these people are huge brands. Like, everyone will talk about that. And for it to be showcased on Netflix,
yeah,
I don't know.
What, you think there's got to be some sort of, like, agreement there that...
You would never know. I like to think not. You like to think they're just
But you'd think
competing.
that things would get leaked and the word would spread.
They'll have NDAs, though, where you just can't disclose it. That'd be part of contract, like, you can't be spoken about. Tyson can't be hard on money, and even obviously Jake's fucking...
I think he's just trying to stay relevant, and he probably likes being in that limelight constantly, because think about it, there's no other real boxer from that era who's as popular and, like, everywhere as Tyson is at the moment, is there?
Yeah, we're the man.
He's the man. I know Evander... Is it? Evander
We thought
Holyfield.
Holyfield's is a bit
yeah, and he's messaged KSI asking if he wants to do one. KSI's like, no, bro.
It's just what bags, isn't it?
Off,
It's all about the money.
The reason why I'm like totally rethinking me conspiracy theorist inside me is the Ryan Garcia shit.
I watched a little bit of that.
Brother. I think
because Tate got him on a space on X, and I listened to little bits about it.
Yeah.
Probably some truth to it, mate, but I think he's been... I think he's definitely been on the powder. And I also think he's probably just found weed, me, him.
Do you think?
And I think weed, if... Let's say you were completely blindsided to what potentially could be happening in the world day to day and understand it. Because remember, someone like that who has been a YouTube star / boxer for some time, I'm surmising he's been an amateur boxer. He's probably... If he's been the golden boy replacement, he'll have been sheltered from probably what is going on.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So maybe he has a puff of that weed and his brain starts opening up and he starts like, whoa. You just never know.
Yeah, but it's the fact that...
But remember, if you're having a meltdown and you're a public figure like that, everyone sees it. There's no hiding from it because you're in the public eye 24/7.
Yeah. Bro, there's a girl in my year at school called Attell. And I felt bad, to be fair, because when I was in primary school, I used to be a bit of a dickhead to her. She was like quite a big girl. And I've got her on Facebook, and I just saw this was like a month or two ago, I saw some crazy statuses, and I thought, fucking hell. It was something about, does everyone want to come to my name change party? And she tagged all of her friends in it. That's why I saw it. So I'm like, went on a page, just like...
Change gender?
No. Every minute, it's just crazy, like, statuses that don't even make sense. And then it's people commenting saying, just get help, Attell, just like sort your head out.
Seek help.
But she's actually, then she'll uploading photos, I don't know if it was field ed, but in some sort of like unit. So
she'll basically just... documenting a losing her mind.
Pretty much. And I think that's what's going on with Ryan Garcia. But when I try and listen, I listen to the Andrew Tate call and other calls as well later on. It does sound quite sound in mind. So it's not as if he's like fucking lost his marbles, but there is some sort of like, there's something going on in his head that's just not making sense. Don't get me wrong, if he released some footage now that he says he's got, I'd fucking...
He needs to focus on that fighter and that Devin Haney fight. That's no joke, that.
Yeah, he's going to get smoked in that fight, I believe. I can't see him beating Devin Haney.
Let me play mode this.
But it's still like putting training videos up and he looks sweet there. So I just can't fucking figure it out. It would not surprise me if it just come out and he were like, I got you all.
Yeah,
I've just boosted
just
me follow. I've just got this many impressions this month on X. I've boosted me following. The fight's going to sell a fucking £1 million worth more tickets. More for you lot for like.
We were mentioning it, change gears a little bit. You were mentioning it off camera there, the Andrew Tate saga. What do you know? What's going on there?
Yeah, so I don't know too much about the case or what the accusations are. I know it's like...
Is it back to the trafficking and the,
back to like
extortion of women or whatever?
Sexual assault, but I think it's apparently just a girl in the UK that's saying it, or a couple of girls in the UK. So obviously they got arrested, released within 24 hours, but then UK or England have been like, we want to extradite him back over here, and Romania have just accepted it and said, yeah, that's fine. So it's going to be a bumpy ride for them, I think. This is the thing, like, you just never, you said then about conspiracies and you never know what's going on, NDAs and all that shit. Bro, they could have just paid some fucking girl to stand in court who just knows Andrew Tate, who's been at a party with him when he was 21. It's a bit of madness, but they do bring it on themselves a little bit with the stuff they post and the stuff they say. Like, I'm all for fucking free speech and freedom of speech on X and that, but they just go a bit over the top, don't they?
They fucking got hold of Tommy again, haven't they?
Have they? Well, you said they'd been arrested. What?
Tommy were arrested and got, was it Danny Tomo?
Yeah.
He put a video on yesterday of him sort of outside the courthouse, so he must have been back out again, and he's been banned from some part of the UK, I believe.
It's crazy shit.
Yeah, there's the silencing people,
yeah,
for whatever reason. I don't know.
Did you see, there's a video circulating at the moment, a girl getting her head smashed off concrete? Savage, bro.
I know we're doing that.
It's in America. It's some like African, maybe 16, 17-year-old black girl and some like skinny white American 15-year-old girl. The white American girl actually hits her first and she just takes her down, grabs her head, smashes it hard on the floor, mate. Horrible. The girl has a seizure. And it's just been circulating around Twitter mad at the moment. But it's crazy how people can upload that on Twitter, or people can do that and she probably won't get that done. Yeah, Tommy Robinson's just, I don't know what he's doing at the moment. He's going around and being a bit of a journal on like the wrongs that are going around.
He's going after the police, isn't he?
Is that what he's doing?
Which if you go after
it's not a good idea though.
No.
Like you're not going to fucking win that war one person against all the police.
No.
And even though Tommy's quite smart, there's always someone smarter than you in police who'll be a step ahead of you, who can just silence you like that. They've got everyone on their side. But it is what it is. I want to talk about your post that you put on your Jam Academy.
Which one? Lost at sea always, Josh Maskell.
Yeah. The are you losing it one? What's going on with that?
It's not. Read it to me a little.
And by the way, I'm not saying you're losing. I'm just like
No, I'm always like that. But when I go away, so I went to Portugal. I do try and business were always a bit of a crutch for me, that I can just do that and then not have to sort of really think about where my mindset is at or how I'm feeling. And I read a fair bit there, so that triggers ideas. I'm reading that book there, the Robert Greene one, and that triggered a lot of ideas because they think of a lot of big ideas there, like a life's task almost. That's always sort of the messaging behind these books, whether it be Think and Grow Rich or whatever. It's like some sort of mission. I just never thought I really had that, mate. So like, then I just overthink that instead of just being what I need to be is the ability to be a little bit more present, a little bit more just content and happy in just day-to-day life. Like as a man, I think a lot of people, I know from my experience, struggle and like, am I doing the right stuff? If that makes any sense.
It does. I think there's like, and have you got anything that you put that down to? I think there's a few things that could really put it down.
I think wanting to make more money.
Yeah.
And how I make my money. Because an idea that will go through my head a lot on holiday, it's not always how much you make, it's sometimes how I make it, and I'm happy and content with that, and trying to dissect and think on that. And then just, you mentioned the 4-hour work week there. It's like I'm far away from that. Like the way that I'm making my income at the minute requires a lot of time. And we talked about scaling businesses and stuff like this. If I were to go out and acquire more clients now without building a staffing or people around me, I'm just going to be working 24 hours a day, and then time is just feel like it's going fast for me at the minute. I feel like I've aged a little bit. So then you just you start questioning like where you're putting your energy and where you're putting your time. These are big things that I'm always trying to think about, but I think that can somewhat paralyzed me as well, because you don't take action then.
Yeah.
You can just procrastinate on that idea, or you fall into a, say with the course here that you were speaking of, coming that you've just invested in the course. Well, the only reason for doing that, and I fell into the negative side of this, is it's all right going and acquiring all the information and getting the dopamine hit from reading about this diet or this business principle or this way to live or this, whatever it might be. The only thing that matters is what am I actioning into my life?
Yeah.
And I will procrastinate on a lot of things, me. And that's when your view on yourself can change. And that's all that matters. I believe. Like if your view on yourself's not strong, then don't matter how much money you make or all those other sort of like variables, it's irrelevant to me. And part of it is just my friendship group's just dispersed. Like you've gone, Benny's gone, Holmes is Samo, like the boys who are like close to, like the brotherhood almost, the boys who you'd sort of like lean on. Life gets in the way, and it is. So part of it's probably a little bit of that. I'm not sitting down and talking like this. Like this is why I'm happy I want to do the podcast here today. Is just the fact that this is counselling for me. Almost.
I like this setting as well.
We'll get it better, but just
no. I actually feel way more comfortable sitting in like your house.
Yeah, you can have a bit of coffee and just fucking what it's meant to be. It's
bro.
Trying to understand ideas and way I'm feeling and thinking, because you don't speak to your mates. My missus just said then, like, I'm missing mates. Like, just they've all fucking, they've gone, and so I'm not just saying it like, it's me. It's like they're going about their life, and that's what they should be doing, like on a worthy mission. But you need men in your life, man, and I'm a big believer in that. So when that disappears, and you don't have the conversations that you need to have to people to either just voice it or just to redirect you or whatever that might be, then I miss that. And that's, to me, what podcasting were about first and foremost, before, forget about the views or anything like that. Like, we're having a conversation. And
yeah, for sure.
I don't know where... The answer to that is, I have no fucking clue, mate. That's the honest... will I ever be happy and content?
Well, you started that off by saying about money and are you making enough? How are you making it? I used to worry more about that. So my OnlyFans, I used to just base it purely on what I'd earn per week or what I'd earn a day or like a month. Now, I'm not focusing on money whatsoever. In fact, I'm probably earning less money right now than I was back then, purely because I've got them other boys involved who I'm sort of paying to do what they're doing. And it takes time to sort of build it up. They're sort of figuring out how my profile works, and I'm figuring out how much sort of content they're wanting from me. So right now, I'm focusing on money very little. But I am focusing more on like progressing. I get more pleasure out of learning more and progressing as a person, and just more on self-development. If I had enough money to like put me through the next 6 months, so I could just not think about money whatsoever and just focus on everything personal development, I'd get a way better buzz off building myself up and building skills and stuff than I would building my bank account. So I think because you've been focused on money for so long, it probably takes you back to like wanting some sort of external validation when you were younger and wanting to do well for yourself so your family don't, like you said, I can't remember which podcast it was, but you wanted your family to be like, oh no, he's done all right. And because people, like when you were younger, people used to think you were going to struggle.
Way.
So you want to like prove externally. Same with me, like I didn't really have anything like that, but I know I always wanted to impress my parents. I'd go home sometimes and brag about how much money I'd made doing stuff like that. So I was always seeking external validation, but it stopped me progressing then. I think if you focus more on just like building yourself up, you get a fucking way better buzz from doing that. That's the reason why I'm happy to do them courses. And I know what you're saying about the procrastination thing. I read a newsletter on procrastinating last week, and it's people are not procrastinators. You've just got a habit of doing it. And one of the main causes of what I think probably like relates to you mostly is you just said then like you doubt yourself, or you like think less of yourself than you should. So you second guess everything you do. You second guess your ability. So you might go and learn something in a book, but you don't really trust that you can go out and do that and action it. But if you just have faith in yourself and just like fuck everything off and just think, I've learned this, I'm going to put it into action. That's what I've like done for myself for the last 6 weeks, and it's been working. I think if you just focus more on that.
Sorry to interrupt. How are you deciding there then? I agree with what you've said then. But a second point to that would be, because of me addictive nature, let's just say that, right? That if something gets me attention, it'll get me full attention, and I'll work hard at it.
Yeah.
How are you deciding where to spend your time? Like, does that take up a lot of bandwidth in your head? That right, this is the project that I'm now going to pursue, and it's going to get me full attention. Or you just how are you connecting those dots?
Yeah. One thing I've noticed from having like a couple of weeks break is I were able to prioritize other things, because you probably, we used to edit and we'd be like, oh, it's not earning me any money. It's taking this many hours. I'm losing files and having to pay for it. It's not bringing as much views as we'd like in. And I was focusing more on that. I had no fucking bandwidth to do anything else. But when I had like a 2 or 3 week break, I thought, right, when I started learning from this Danko, my priority was to build some sort of course or something that I can, package a product. So when I started with Kajabi, and I know I'm paying $200 a month for it, I thought, right, I have to build something here. My only thing I can really give people advice on is I've earned over 6 figures on OnlyFans, so I need to build some sort of course. And I know I did it last time, and I give it out for free, hoping for people to come over and get coached by me, but I just did it all wrong. That's why that kind of just washed away after I'd built it. But I proved to myself that I did have the knowledge to do it. So when I built this one and like made it the best version I could, that took all my priority. So I just thought, right, I'm focusing purely on making that course. I'll do it for like 2 hours, 3 hours a day. I know what I need to do. Then the other 2 or 3 hours, I'll do my writing course because I'm learning. So that'd be my main priority, building what I know I can do, then learning. I'd wake up the next day, do it again, then learn. And then I just did it. And then as soon as that course was finished, I was like, right, now I need to learn how to like bring attention to it. So I studied how, as in like, I don't really know the funnels and the lead magnets yet, which is why I've applied for that course, because it does a lot of that. But I know I need to base my social media to push people towards it, which is why now I'm filming like shorts and stuff talking about it, or why I'm learning to write and putting tweets out on Twitter. So that then becomes my priority, making content and funneling people down towards that website. And I haven't got that part figured out yet. It's going to take time.
Well, I think my strategy with this, if we do this, even if we just do one a fortnight or one a week, whatever it might be, and then work towards the guests, is I'm just going to, we're not had an argument, but going back and forth regarding sort of like SEO and all this. Yeah. Man, I'm just going to do what I know and run ads against it. Yeah. And that's that. And run a fucking decent whack against it. Whereas I just know because when we're talking about stuff like this and we're having like open dialogue and conversation, I just know it can help people. So like that's always been the goal for me initially. Yeah. And from that, the secondary level down would be the networking and the ability to sort of like do business with these people as well. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think if we get the core of the podcast down, we'll be all right. Yeah. I hope anyway. And then, like you say there with the bandwidth, you can focus on your own pursuits and make sure that your stuff's nailed down and you're giving it the correct amount of time. And people underestimate, I know I do, this is why I procrastinate a little bit, because to get anything, all this 4 hour week, maybe that's true, but I also believe that's often, no matter how good the product is or the service that you're offering, it does require a fair bit of work to get off the ground. So you just I need to be aware of that if I'm going to do it again, because I've had a lot of failings before. So you don't want to be like one of that sits there on my back of my mind, like, right, that didn't work out too well, and I lost a lot of time there. But there's always been lessons in it. Like I've learned something, I've learned a new skill or a new whatever it might be. But that's probably what's holding me back, and it's poor that, because you should try and
you should use that to your advantage.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is that understand that like worst case scenario, it does flop, and that's that, innit? Who cares? At least you're on the field trying to have a dig, versus everyone else who's just sort of like just pointing a finger at people who are having an attempt at it.
Yeah. It's like that thing where there's 2 targets and one of them's got loads of misses around it, loads of misses, red dots, and one of them's got none, and it's like, this person's not like a loser. It's the person who hasn't actually took any shots.
The guy this weekend said something to me that hit home. He says, you only need one to work.
Yeah, 100%.
And he'd bust multiple companies and tried and failed, e-commerce, this, that, and the other. You need one to work. And that's the freedom tool then, isn't it? It's like then for me, not to procrastinate on that again, but like, what is the subject matter that I want to go in on?
Yeah.
Because I love client services, but unless you build a big agency out, especially around here, like, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I'm just being a bit fucking.
I just feel like I know you don't really have a digital product in mind. It'd be cool, like when you first made your money.
I wish I'd have documented all that.
You're working at Lotte Lane Sports Centre, then you went to earning like.
And also, I wish I'd have documented the fucking bodybuilding stuff. Maybe I'd still been into that now. Cool. Yeah. Probably trend or dead or whatever. Yeah.
Well, you could have been the fucking Sam Suleg of like 2005 or whatever it was.
Yeah,
but that's what it is. That's their focus at Danko, is like, you don't need to like find a business that no one else is doing. don't think that the market's saturated. Like, find something, a problem that you've solved and you're living proof of it, turn it into something that you can sell a product and help people do it how you did it. And that's all it's about. Like, for me, I know for that right now, OnlyFans is the only thing I can really do as a course. But then also, because I got past that point when you first sent me the Danko video where I was in a bad rut, and I've pulled myself out of that. And to be honest, if I didn't have the financial backing when I got hit with that rut in, like, what were it, October, November time, I'd have had to go back to full-time employment, and I'd have been back into it. So I wanted and then for me to be able to sort of pull myself back and making money again and getting in the flow of being creative again, I feel like that's a fucking product in itself. But
at least we're having these conversations, because I would surmise there that a lot of people just never have these conversations, and that's what leads to severe depression, because you never address it and you never just try and dissect it and be okay with feeling a certain way sometimes, and like that there can be a lesson in that might motivate you to like go again. Or
bro, I used to hide so much stuff from like Emily, and then like,
in regard to what?
Just how I was feeling.
Big part of me though is like, let's stick on this subject here. Should you put that on your woman? Like, I don't like it when she says, "Oh, you're not happy at a minute," or this, that, and the other. I don't like that. But then I don't want to burden her too much with like actually what is going on in the fucking dome.
That's the same mindset.
There could be a shotgun in mouth any minute.
No, but this is the thing, bro. You think it's going to be a burden to him, but if you don't let him know, like what happens with me and Emily constantly, apart from like recently, she'll do 10 things that bother me. I won't say a word because I can't be asked with even more conflict, so I just don't say anything. If she leaves stuff around the house, I'll just tidy it away, fuck it. If she says something to me I don't like, well, whatever. If she does something I don't like, same again. And then obviously if I've got my own problems going on, if my OnlyFans is earning less money, if I'm stuck in a bit of a rut, if I'm scrolling too much, I'll keep it to myself because I'm a bit like embarrassed about it and I don't want to pass it on to her. Yeah. I do one thing wrong. She'll sit me down and go, "Oh, I want to talk about something you've done wrong. I feel like you're not giving me enough attention." I'm like, fuck. I'm like, literally, I've got 20 things that I've got problems with you and I'm not saying it. And she's like, you should. Like, you just tell me the problems and it'll make it better. Because instead, I keep it in my own head and I make it worse because I constantly think and talk about it to myself. But if you can just like let it off, get it off your chest, and they can help you to change like whatever the outcome's going to be.
Yeah, usually when I do that, she's got the correct answers for me as well. So it's just sometimes a double-edged sword that for me. I don't want to burden her too much, and you know, obviously I want to try and walk through that door and be happy and be content and push. But I think men do feel a different burden to women.
They do.
Most of the time. I think that's probably a fair point. That's just how I feel, especially trying to look after her. It's like there's a big burden and responsibility there, and that never goes away. That's always smoking just below it's always there. I'm always aware of that. And then if you want to kick on another gear to another level of income or whatever, then, you know, we just mentioned there the accounting and understanding business. Let's look at it honestly. We're two working lads from a working class town where neither of us families have had businesses or probably pursued money the way that we're trying to pursue, accomplishing tasks and success, whatever that word is. It's a bit of a solo ride unless you reach out to people who have done it. Yeah. And it's hard to find those people because even when I've met people in my life who are further along than me, they're still dealing with that. And they're still dealing with that heavily. They're probably just calloused a bit more to it. You know, like you go to the gym and your hands get calloused from lifting weights. Like probably your brain gets calloused a little bit too as well. And I don't think that's always a good thing. No. And like a lot of the people, I think you can get lost in the spirituality side. But the reason why that's important to me and why I like listening to people who are on that path is we can break down that callous and you can break down that and understand that. And probably that's where you are at a bit more peace, just at a baseline. That's sort of my probably wish that. Take the money out of it, right? If there were no pursuit of money there, like just me being sat alone, am I happy and content? And most of the time, I ain't.
Yeah.
No, mate.
I see.
and you can procrastinate on that because, like, if you're truly, like meditation, not having to do a task, so not like where people get lost in, I've got to do an ice bath, I've got to do this. Just sat, doing nothing. Your baseline, like, where is that at? Is it a fried brain? Is it a brain that's demanding, like, scrolling or some external validation? I never really, I've tried to sit and think on that. Like, I really struggle with that, mate.
I don't remember the last time I sat on my own and weren't like working or doing something. Mm-hmm. Like when I'm at home now, I don't get 10 minutes to sit down and do something. I'm constantly, but my work's a bit more calculated than it was. And I know how hectic your life is. And I know how hectic my life was before. You're in a similar situation to how I was mentally when I was sort of like living back here and just everything was too hectic, and you worried about, like you said, how much money you're going to make and how you're making it. Am I giving Carl enough attention? Am I helping him out? Am I looking after my missus properly? Am I happy myself? Do I see my family enough? Am I training enough? And there's just fucking so much going on. I ain't doing none of that right now. I'm just like, I'm working on something. But like, it goes back to what you just said then. How am I thinking about what's most important? What's my most important task? I've gone back to writing my daily list down now. I neglected that for like a month or two. But one of the videos that I was listening to recently, it's about habits and like saying things out loud, and it feels more personal when you actually like write stuff on paper and stuff. I've started writing down my list again, but I just put my top priority thing at top. So this morning, my top priority was to get today's newsletter finished. And I probably had like 2 hours worth on the morning before I set off over here.
Yeah.
And then my next priority thing was going to the studio and filming them 10 videos. And I didn't want to leave the studio until I filmed them, but I had pads at 2 and I got them done. I was quite cut for time. Then I went and did pads, made sure I filmed that. Because usually I'd be like, oh, I can't be taking my camera in there now. There's probably people in there judging me. I thought, no, I'm taking my camera, I'm getting the content I need, and that's fucking it. Come here, do the podcast, and then I'm going to have quite a lot of content to edit. So now it'll just be prioritise the podcast because it's going to go out on the weekend. Then prioritise my shorts because it's going to bring business.
I think with the podcast, don't overly stress yourself, mate.
I don't stress it.
Let's just have a mentality. Try and get a piece of content a week and put it out when we put it out.
Yeah.
Because I will run ads against it.
Yeah. You've got so many like tools in your arsenal.
I know.
You've got editing. You've got like running ads. You can sell motorhomes.
Sales.
Everything sales wise. You could build some sort of Moses style sales product that you've got 300 people in your JM Academy who would love to like learn sales. Like Keegan, for instance, when we first started like speaking to Keegan.
What the fuck is happening to Big Red?
He did give me a message last week, to be fair to him. He just basically said that, like, I apologise for not really being in touch. His head's been up his arse and he's just been back into that routine. But, I mean, I just replied saying, no worries, bro. I hope everything's okay. Yep. Like, usually I'd be like, oh, like, come and see me. Let's do this. Let's get you back to scratch. But to be honest, bro, I spent too much time doing that sort of stuff, wanting to help people too much. And when it done, it's not that I want it replicating because I'm on my own thing right now and I know who.
Sometimes, mate, you've got to be, let me get this correct, selfish before you can be selfless.
Mm-hmm. And I need to be selfish right now. So I just said to him, like, I hope everything's sound. Don't get me wrong, if he rung me now and said, can I come over and see you, or can I have a chat, I'd be like, fucking too right.
It's £500.
But I'm not going to, yeah. It's £500 for a month, mate. I set direct debit up. But I'd be like, no problem, but I'm not going to like reach out and say, oh, I'll do this for you.
Yeah, I think I've started doing that now. Like, even a thing for me, I used to get, because I'm a bit of an overthinker, like if people are ringing me, I feel like I need to pick it up. I've just like, no, I stick to my own sort of thing now. I'm not tied to that fucking device.
100%.
That's not the fucking, that's not, life is not that.
No. That should be locked in a fucking box when you don't need it.
It kills me off, and I'm fully addicted to it, and super aware of the fact that I'm addicted to it.
So because the newsletter that I've just finished now is all on habits. So I've read James Clear's Atomic Habit. I've got about 50 pages left, and I've read it all this week. I've just been smashing it. Any moment I've got, I'd read like 5 to 10 chapters, and it just taught. I can't bore you with fucking how a habit is, but how it's like cue, craving, result, or response, and then reward. Like everything that you do as a cue. And that phone, as soon as you, for me anyway, as soon as I see a text now, I'll pull it up, I'll respond to it. Then my phone's in my hand, I think, I'll get a bit of a dopamine from Instagram. Yeah. Then I'll spend 20 minutes. I try and cut it down now. I'll spend 20 minutes scrolling. Then I'll check all my notifications. Then I'll check my OnlyFans wage.
And you just feel like a worthless piece of shit.
Bro, I feel like I'm gonna fucking.
It falls off.
Yeah. So and then literally I put it down. I'm like, why have I done that? But then because I feel bad, I'm like, yeah, scroll for a bit longer. It's a fucking slippery slope, mate. That phone is it's the best thing in the world for like what you can do with it nowadays. But used incorrectly, it's a killer.
He gives me the best counselling ever, does Sam Holmes. So I don't speak to Sam a lot.
Yeah.
But he's got some, even though he's other side of the world in Australia, I feel like he always has a read on me, and we'll talk once a month, maybe once every couple of months, but like for an hour. So like we're doing now, but like talking about certain whatever subjects we're interested in at the time. But he doesn't use the apps on his phone, doesn't have them on his phone at all, which is, I justify why I need them on my phone because I justify it from business or work or whatever I'm saying, but you could just have them on desktop. There's a select few that you probably need to post through the phone, but it's the killer, mate. That.
Do you know what it is that's the killer, bro? It's the mindless scrolling. If you have, so for me, these newsletters, bro, are a fucking godsend. I've only got like 15 people subscribed to it at the moment, so I know they're probably not going to be
15 is better than 0.
Yeah, and I know it's just, I can't expect to have fucking 3,000 straight away. Like, nobody knows who I am yet in that sort of space. But when I'm writing something on atomic habits, or habits in general, I'm looking for stuff, or I'm searching for stuff that's to do with that. I'll go on Twitter. I've got all the little, like offshoots for Twitter now, like Twemex, where you can type in, like, habits and it'll show you the most viral tweets about habits and it'll always have something of value in there. So I'm scrolling mindfully looking for something that's to do with what I'm doing. When you start doing it mindlessly just to try and get a dopamine hit, mate, that's when it's the killer. I don't know how much time you spend on your phone scrolling and stuff like that. I'm presuming if it's a problem, it's...
Can you see on screen time?
Yeah, if you want screen time, it should tell you. But my screen time, I'm constantly like...
5 hours.
5 hours is not bad in grand scheme of things. It all depends what you're doing. But like my screen time will probably be quite high purely because I'm always watching YouTube videos. Like mine's 5 hours and 27 minutes. But if I look at what that's on there,
I go to bed listening to a podcast. I don't know if that's part of it.
yeah, it will be.
Still not good enough. Like 5 hours.
No, well,
Should be half an hour, surely.
yesterday it were like 7.5 hours. So
It's intense.
yeah, but I'm
It's a big
always,
chunk at working day, innit?
Yeah, but I'm always editing on there as well. I'm using editing apps constantly and stuff like that. So I don't think you can really go for your screen time unless you're 7 hours as constantly like working and doing some on it. Then it's not bad screen time. It's when you're fucking just there for 3 hours. Just
When I go to work, I'm on it most of the time, just cross-referencing. But still, I think it's good for you, neither me.
no.
Like, I don't know how much length's in doing what I'm doing now, and that's part of that. Go back to that message that you said that I put yesterday. It's like, there's a timeline for what I'm doing at the minute for me, and I'm aware of that. So if I'm aware of the timeline, there needs to be a next step, though. And if I'm not working towards that next step, then there's a problem there. That's where my anxiety creeps up a little bit, because BIFTA doesn't help, aware of that. So, like, I'm easily like, it's not that I'm a fucking chronic smoker day in, day out, but let's just say we relax on an evening and unwind. Well, those hours could be used to develop my vision further. And like, 'cause I know if I get addicted to that, I get addicted to it. I think people need to be aware of that. This is more of a message to myself. It's like, if you're complaining, right, which I do, then there needs to be
There'll be an action to...
Fucking needs to be a step to, well, how do I get out of this? Yeah. I think we've fallen into probably as a collective, as a country now, probably like most people, well, they'll blame and they'll vent and they'll moan like I do and blame everyone else other than the person looking back at me in the mirror, and that is the fucking, the be on and all. Like, what did I used to hear? And I used to love that phrase, like, 'cause I like quotes because they stick in my mind. The person pointing the finger, there's always 3 pointing back. Like, and that's ultimately me. Like, if there's going to be a change, and I'm going to have to evoke that. No, I ain't going to come and do it. Like, I'm thinking, yes, it's almost like a pity party. It's like, oh, well, I wish I had a mentor. I wish I had someone who could have guided me and done this and that. It's like, no, like, the story is better if I figure it out myself.
To back that up what you just said then that people are always complaining and pointing fingers and doing all that and never taking action. The people taking action are never complaining. So it's a 100% true what you just said there. And I know that from my own experience, because I went through so many years of like I'd put like people I know down. I did a season in Ibiza and I'd see people like Kyle Beaumont, he did a little bit of like part-time modelling. Then I'd see him taking Instagram serious and like putting modelling, and I'd be like, fucking hell, like, I've seen him fucking off his head on pills in a bit, like, you know, like doubting him a little bit.
Yeah. Talking good shit, mate. So yeah, man. Who cares with the visual?
Kyle Beaumont. So I'd be like, look at this guy trying to be a fucking serious model. I used to see him out on pills all the time, and I'd like put people down to make me feel better when he's actually doing something. With his
why
life.
Are you doing that though?
It's like, I don't know. I feel like I'd try and put.
I think it's
people
because
down.
misery loves company. Me, it's like almost like you're justifying why you're not doing something. It's like it's the easier option there, innit? Would be to like downplay what he's doing versus look at what he's doing. Like, oh, that's impressive.
It was to make me feel good for not doing anything. Like, nah, look at mine, man.
Yeah, but were you doing that talking to other people, or just talk, or just?
No, I'd do it to myself. I'd say it to myself, but that's just as bad. It's probably worse if you're just literally saying something about someone in your own head, just because you're not doing fuck all, just to try and make you feel a little bit better for not doing it. Now the guy's out there living in Bali. He's got a tattoo shop and a beach club. Yeah. The guy smashed it. Then when I actually start doing stuff for myself and not fucking trying to put other people down, I don't really care about putting the world to rights or being like, you know, complaining about stuff. Like, even when people talk about, I know you put society in there on that status of mind, like society is going to change no matter what our views are on it. So I just don't give a fuck about it anymore.
I agree with that.
People talk about, social media's changing, this is all changing, people are doing this. I don't care.
No.
I'll just do my own thing.
Yeah.
If society changes around me, I'll try and adapt to it if I need to. If not, I'll just stay in my own fucking doing my own stuff. Like, I feel like if you care about society so much, it's just going to distract you or anything in general.
But that's the procrastinating tool.
Yeah.
The ones who I see speak about that a lot ain't doing a lot with their shit.
Mm-hmm. And I weren't going to bring the weed thing up because I know I always like say it on each podcast. But tomorrow is 150 days.
Let's go, baby.
150 days clean. That's a long time, that, brother.
Feeling any better?
Huh?
Feeling any better?
I like these last 3 or 4 weeks, I have started to feel miles better.
Yeah.
But it's not like, I feel like I've got fucking superpower. It's just like,
you ain't got that crutch.
yeah. And the big thing for me, because, when you just said then when you're on your own and my internal narrative at the moment is mainly like positive stuff or like talking myself into stuff or like speaking something into like affirmation, you know what I mean? Like my mindset's just a bit cleaner. I don't know if that's from like just being a bit more on it with my stuff.
And just look at who you're immersing yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surely that's their messaging, isn't it?
Yeah. That was your point. It was like in them 2 or 3 hours on an evening when I'm smoking, I could be doing something else, personal development stuff. It's not even really that, because you can still do stuff if you're that way inclined.
I make myself training that now.
That's what I mean. You'll still train, so you still get your shit done. The only thing what's made me realise anyway since I've stopped smoking weed, it's whatever the fucking chemical is or whatever it does to your body and your brain, that is the problem. It's not the evening whilst you're smoking it, because it's fun. I still envy the fact that people can still smoke and have munchies and do all that.
Yeah.
And have a good laugh. And I know if I were to smoke now, I'd have a fucking right laugh and I'd love it. And I'd even be fine the next day. But it's when I continuously do it every single day. The thing how I look at it is, if you wanted to be this person who's maybe not working in client services anymore, you've got your own business.
Yeah, they ain't smoking weed every evening.
No. If you want to be that person, you've got to start being that person today.
Mm.
You've got to act like you're already that person, because if you're still being you but being like, oh no, I want to be there, but still doing your stuff, the stuff that's sort of who you are right now, your identity, you're going to stay there. It's going to be hard for you to progress. You've got to actually, before you spark a cigarette, would the fucking highest version of me be sparking a joint up now, or would you be fucking doing some personal development or building a funnel for this or thinking of a digital product I can make?
Yeah.
I feel like that's
Makes
the thing
sense.
about weed. It's not exactly what you do right now when you have your joint. I think it's just whatever the fuck is in that chemical. It does something to your brain.
Well, the problem with it now, it's like you don't know where it's coming from neither. So like you could be smoking fucking any other strain. It's like you just don't know what you're smoking. No. Like if you had, let's just say, because I'm not against that. Let's just say you had your own, which I haven't, by the way. So don't be fucking braying my door down. And you knew what you were growing, and it were fucking organic, is whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. Then maybe there's a play for that sometime. For some people, who am I to say whether it affects some people differently or not? But you're correct. There's no getting. It's not like I'm in denial about that fact. It's like it is enjoyable on the night to do it, and it winds me down. But am I delaying? Would my future better self thank me if I stopped today? Probably would.
Yeah. And it is tough. The good thing about how I stopped is I just knew that this is my last joint I'm having. I'm going on holiday for a week. When I come back, I'm not identifying as that person anymore.
Yeah.
As good as it is, because it fucking is, when you're smoking on the night, it's fucking good, especially if you can sit and have a conversation with people and have some food and watch something funny.
Yeah.
It makes life so much better.
Yeah.
It's just the next day, and then you want it that night.
Yeah.
Then the next day, and it's just like a drip effect, mate. It probably takes 90 days for it to fully
come out,
disperse out of your brain.
Yeah.
And stop you thinking about it. I've just been watching a thing on Netflix.
You don't think you'll ever light up again?
No, I don't
Never.
think I will.
It's impressive, that.
I don't think I'll drink again.
Drinking's
How
not
crazy
my
is
thing.
that?
Well, I had a few drinks over there, and I didn't feel rough, but then a couple of white wines with Russell on. What day did I travel to?
Tuesday,
and I felt it.
did you? What, rough or pissed?
No, because it was a long day, so we're up early, and then there all day, and you're speaking to people all day, so your head's fried like a mashed potato. And then just day after, I just thought I felt a bit off it today.
This is what I mean, bro. I went to FCC on Saturday. It was free drinks, but I had free 0 alcohol beers. Got home at 12:30 at night. Woke up at 7 the next day. If they'd have been,
just prefer a cordial though over like a. Do you like that idea? Like I feel like
I like the taste of it in that atmosphere, even though it didn't. People say there's like a placebo and it makes you feel pissed. It didn't, but it's just like the feeling and the taste of being in that atmosphere and having it. If I'd have had 3 beers, just 3, and woke up, gone to bed at 12:30, woke up at 7, I'd have been fucked, mate. I'd have been dying that day. I'd have been like, oh, I need more sleep. I woke up and I was like, I feel fresh. And I just think that's priceless. Being able to wake up on like 5 hours sleep and still be fresh and crack on with everything that you need to do that next day.
For sure.
That's something I've done for the last 3 or 4 weeks. I've done something every single day.
Yeah.
Even Mother's Day, like my mum and Nat came over at like probably 1 o'clock and I still got my newsletter done and still put a few tweets out and like move the marker just that 1%. That's what I like about not having the vices at the moment.
I want to try and limit coffee, mate. Like I feel it now. I mean, it just feels a bit heavy because I'm at coffees today. I'm not eating anything.
Yeah. Like coffee, I even though I've not had caffeine since like just after Christmas, I ain't noticed anything different with that. My energy is fine. I don't have
I've retired from Upper Deckies.
Have you? That's good. How do you feel about that?
I'm still smoking a bit of American Spirit every now and again, but
it's different though. Upper Deck, isn't it?
Yeah, way too much nicotine.
Yeah,
way too much nicotine.
Like,
intense nicotine.
Yeah,
and I had that parcel in fucking from getting up to going to bed sometimes.
Do you know what it is? Again with the Upper Decky, bro. It's, don't get me wrong.
I saw Tiger Woods with Upper Decky though, so I was thinking of making a relapse. I saw him just going to golf bag, have a little wreck. I'm like, hey, what's he doing here? Boom, Upper Decky straight in.
Do you not think he's on an endorsement though?
Maybe, but like fucking, he's still stuffed it up. I still saw him stick it up.
Still packing chews, end of day. Like that's why I see Kyle and the Nell boys doing it now.
They'll be getting paid a bag for it.
Oh, mate, it is
what it is, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure they've got like 50-60% equity in that brand, which is fucking fair enough. But just seeing
what's their
boys,
brand called? There, it's called. We don't have it over here, do we? Zins.
Yeah, Zimbabwe's. But it's like as soon as I see them packing up a deck, I'm like, oh.
It is nice, isn't it? I used to just like put this the process.
Do you know how tempted listen how tempting this is, right? So you know I like to have a bit of sticky finger in supermarkets, yeah?
What's that mean?
You know what sticky finger is?
Yeah.
And I've never seen chews not behind a counter. They've always been behind the counter. You've got to go up and say,
what location was this?
This were in Morrison's. And there were an end aisle in Morrison's, all just
Upper Deckies,
bro. And I just thought, I could probably slip like 3 or 4 of them tubs in my pocket right now, but I'm not gonna, because then I'd have to take them. And I was just gonna do it out of principle and probably give them away. But then I thought, no, if I get caught robbing some fucking,
I think everything, right? I'm not saying you have to go like straight edge like you've gone, but you need to be in control of it. And some of the vices I've got, I ain't in control of. It's every day.
If you could decide when you will smoke a joint,
yes,
then it'd be
so.
sweet.
If you were in full control of that, there'd probably be. I'm gonna guess there'd be a benefit maybe there, or the risk to reward is
the fact that you're in control for your own mind.
Whereas, but I think it's also environment as well, mate. It's like if I just didn't have it here, I wouldn't be doing it.
Well,
and if I didn't have like bad food in cupboards, I won't eat it.
What's your cue? So you get home from work, you sit down, you've done a bit of work.
Well, now, if you want me honest to thing, it'd be like, right, I'm probably going to train. Well, I'm going to get some food. I'm going to train, and then there's work to be done. Mm-hmm. So like, there's a lot of editing to be done. So I'll be like, probably like, you know what? I've got 2-3 hours of editing here. I'll have a smoke to work through this process, and there's no need for that. Yeah. I always like feel the need for a prep me. So whether it be a coffee.
Yeah.
Or whether it be a spirit, or whether it be whatever it might be, like an Upper Decky. I used to just do that before I edited. It's like right, it's time to work now.
You need something to just switch that mind a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's why most people like that habit. Like I was speaking to someone at the weekend regarding smoking. It's like they love getting up early, going out onto the porch, having a coffee, having a cigar, and that's fucking bliss to them. That's like one of their highlights of their day, mate.
I mean, it's not exactly that bad, is it, having a few tokes off a cigar in the morning, especially if you're already fucking...
I had one at weekend, it fucking strong. I was taking it back and all.
Oh, yeah. That can't be good.
No.
Testosterone levels through roof.
Through roof. Just fucking power tugging it now to one man said.
Didn't know that you're not meant to bring them back.
No. So which bit?
Take token back.
No, I did, because they were like these miniature ones. So we were quite easy to do, but we were the strong.
Yeah. How were it, the racing?
Long days.
What?
Yeah, but such a level up with what they were doing, and we got to meet like some good characters there, mate. People, high wealth individuals who have got their life boxed off, and so it's nice to be around that and just have a conversation with those people who have sort of like done what I want to do, and all I ever need is like, this is why you should never downplay being working class lads, but if you're not around it, go back to this environment we talked about then. If you're not around that, you're not aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and speak, online's all right, but you're not getting that touch point. You're not getting that actual reality.
Yeah.
So I'm very careful that I don't want to just, that digital reality is not real to me. I'm very aware of that. So I want to like meet people in real life. The only reason I ever got into social media or putting stuff out there was to be able to network so I can go get in front of these people. So I want to remember that as well. And I miss that.
Yeah.
And I felt like my capacity to do that's such a lower rate at the minute, which isn't good. It's tiring me out.
Yeah.
It's not good. That I don't know whether that's just a marker of my physical health or what. So that's something that's always in my mind, like making sure your health's in order. That's surely a fucking priority number 1, 2, and 3 from what should be for most people. But other things can take precedence. So I'm just always aware of that.
Yeah. To touch on that health point, I would same as that reason why I feel like I'm fucking saying, oh, I'm a changed man. I'm a totally different to I was 6 weeks.
Yeah, straight edge.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. But the thing that I've noticed is like I used to always focus on my health. Any little like hacks that we could get, like the thingy blue and doing these patches and stuff like that, we were always looking for little hacks to feel better. Whereas now, I'm not worried about anything to do with my health. I know I'm eating healthy and staying hydrated anyway. You know, like taking tablets every single day. You'll do it for 5 days and you forget about them, don't you?
Yeah, it's never a habit for me, that.
Whereas because I'm not thinking about it now, I've just put them in a cupboard that I go into every morning. And as soon as I open that cupboard and I see them, I get them out. And I just do it without thinking. So because I'm not actually thinking about health and I'm sort of on it with everything else, the health just comes with that. You don't really need to focus on the health. Just focus on the system that's going to make you healthy. So for me, it's taking tablets, drinking water every time I go to the fridge, I'll fill a glass up.
Yeah.
Just doing little habits like that. And from that Atomic Habits, I don't know if you read it or not, but it's on about habit stacking. So like, let's say if your bad habit is every time you have a coffee on the morning, you always want to roll it. You're stacking bad habits up there. But if you can change it for like, every time I have a coffee on the morning, I'm going to read 10 pages. And every time I read 10 pages, I'm going to just do a minute of like mindfulness after it. If you can stack good habits then and start getting into that routine. But I feel like it just comes at a time. Like I said, then with the weed, I just knew it was time to stop.
Yeah.
So, and it kind of helped being like new year for the coffee and the alcohol and nicotine. That kind of switches your mindset a bit better. But if you're not ready to stop, it's fucking tough to like change it. But I feel like if you do want to stop any of them habits, mate, get stuck into that James Clear's.
I've read his book before.
I've read it before, but this time when I'm reading
resonated with you.
Yeah, miles, because I'm actually like thinking about them things. I'm not just reading it. And every time I read now, I'll have my notes open always, because there's always. This is the same with reading. Have you ever read a book and then just fucking, you know it's a good book, but if someone said, oh, what's your favourite line? I'd be like, well, I don't fucking know. You might remember a couple of quotes because you like quotes. But for me now, because I'm writing something on habits, anything that I know can go in the habits newsletter, anything that I find that's golden that either resonates with me or that'll go into the newsletter, I write down in my notes.
Yep.
So I'm actually reading with purpose. I'm not just mindlessly reading or mindlessly scrolling. I'm always trying to learn.
Let's have a little bit of a laugh. What about when I was brutally assaulted by a fucking West Island Terrier?
Has that dog been put down yet?
It's had a shringe.
I can't believe you put fucking dog food on your ear so the dog would bite you so you could get it put down.
I was shocked at core when it happened, mate.
How does that even happen? You must have been playing about with it.
I fucking just can't believe it still to this day.
You fucking about
PTSD. Dog 16. Cancer survivor. Full fucking jaw was shaved off where it's had fucking invasive surgery. So I should have probably known don't go to its face.
Yeah.
Really. But the fucking caveat to this is that all week my granddad had been in hospital. So I'd been going up to Pinderfields every day.
Yeah.
Every evening, spending my evenings there, just making sure he's all right. And just spending time with him more than anything. My mum had to travel. My mum's like sort of their carers. My grandma and granddad's like primary carer. So my auntie Karen came up with dog. 16-year-old West Island Terrier.
Up here?
No, they stayed at my grandma's house. So he'd come back. And I was toying. I said, shall I go up and just say bye before they go? I didn't want to because I had loads on. She went, just go up for an hour, come back. You fucking sound. You'll regret if you don't say bye to her. Within 5 minutes, mate. I've gone to stroke dog. So I'm on my knee. I've just heard the like a fucking it go for me. You know, I see people say there can be some reaction time. Nah. Before I'd fucking just palm me right hand there to cover where he'd lunged at my face, this side, he'd already fucking fanged into me. Then I've aggressively pulled back, and it's nearly pulled me fucking lug clean off.
Fuck.
Fucking sat in in Pinders with fucking tetanus jab.
Straight ass.
They won't clean me, so I was fucking just self-medicated. BPC 157 straight in the stomach. Probably never heal, mate. Probably fall off any moment.
That ear could fall off.
You think?
It's good you've got that head sound.
Don't scare me because I'll be thinking about that.
It could.
Why? She said yesterday, just trying to clean it out. She said, "Oh, it don't look too good." I'm like, "Don't sleep all night."
See, that one, if someone said that to me, I'm like, fair enough. I'll just fucking see if it goes any worse. Like, I bet you proper, like, plays on your mind.
No, do you want to see how raged I am?
Go on.
So then I noticed like a little mark here. You see this?
Yeah, the red.
It's from the garment. So then I've gone down a severe rabbit hole of latex poisoning because my eyes are dry at the minute, which is just from aircon and playing. I've then just self-diagnosed the fact that I've been poisoned with latex.
Oh my god.
That's how my brain works, mate.
Bro.
So that's
as it always works like that.
This is why when you say, the weed thing, right? The main point of that post, which you haven't brought up, is that I feel my brain revs too high. So like I can't stop thinking.
But seriously, bro.
So and you can say go do a fucking ice baths, and I've tried all this shit, mate. Meditation, I've fucking done all of it, mate. I've done all of it before. I tried to do it. I've tried intense exercise, flogging myself on this, that, and the other. I've tried it all. I have a puff of that, mate. Have you seen that meme where they're in the gym? It's like, the reason why I go to the gym, it's like, chatter.
Stops.
Mate.
Is it really?
Immediately. So maybe your brain don't work like that, but my brain, like with the accounting, I'll never stop thinking about that until it's back in my bank.
Jan.
No, day and night, mate. Ask her how raged I was when I did that.
Brother.
I punched this oak door, mate, with probably fucking mongy technique, which I've only got. Recoiled straight off, nearly broke my knuckle in half, and then I'm shaking with rage. It's like me. I make mountains out of molehills, mate, and I've always been like that. But you get stuff done, like with motorhome game. Like if we have to get to a certain amount of sales per month, like it has to happen. It can't not.
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
But weed.
And has that always been like that? Always.
Way worse.
Okay.
Whether people call it ADHD or whatever you want to call it, I don't like branding people like that, like because everyone's built up different and everyone's makeup's different. But my brain's just always felt like it's revved a little bit too high, and I don't know if that's just from what happened to me as a kid. I always come back to that because that could be a valid point that I've never like done any counselling or like dealt with that properly. So like maybe that's just a low level of anxiety there that you more than anything, like knowing how my brain works, like is that going to happen to me? Am I just one day going to wake up and just think,
nah,
I don't want to be here?
I don't think that works like that.
But I think like that. That's like sort of like, if you inherit traits from your parents, which I don't always necessarily. There's stuff that's hereditary, no doubt. But I think the way you go about your life is an indicator if you're gonna those genes it's gonna happen like that. Let's just say. But if mental health is in the family, which my family have always been fairly fit and able-bodied, but been mentally sort of raged. So like you've got to then overcome that generational trauma as well, which people don't talk about because that's instilled to you. Like my mum's super erratic. So that's the behaviour that I've known since being a baby. Erratic behaviour. Loving, but erratic. Hard worker, but erratic. So like there's probably better alternatives to just having to have a doobie every night. But for me, it's the easiest thing to access to quiet the mind.
This is probably why like old school people would always have like whiskey on a night or some sort of alcohol before like weed kind of got popular. Yeah. You'd all like my parents.
That's the wine is the only thing that I noticed with alcohol. That is a what's it called drug, a gateway. Because I either want another glass
or bags getting ordered.
I don't think like that, but we had this conversation the other day, and it's I want to finish on this because I want to sort of keep them about an hour and a half. That it were never the alcohol or the drugs that were the driver for me. When you partied, like someone asked me like, why did you party to that level? Why were you like doing all that? And it were just, where could you end up? It weren't the fucking, like, If we were just going to sit here, the likelihood of us just getting on a bag, and if we knew that we couldn't leave this room and no one else could come, we'd probably just be like, it's probably not worth the fucking...
What, so you liked the fact that you'd moved to different locations? And
Yes, bro.
Really?
I used to enjoy it at the party, right? The best part of the party were like, we used to call it university. I remember this, and they're going to laugh if I didn't watch it because I know my rugby captain and the boys who partied when we did it. We just migrate. So it'd get to a certain point in the party where vibes dying off a little bit. Still plentiful of bags flying about because it were the easy access at the time, but you just needed to move venues.
So you just say,
get in a cab, migrate to someone else's house. Might only be 10 minutes down the road.
New location,
new vibe, and we go again.
That makes sense. That makes total sense. But for me, bro, I'd quit at that last point.
No, I could never stop. That was my thing. So like, you say gateways, I could never call it.
So let's say you're 2 or 3 days into a deep one, right? And everyone's fucking dropping like flies and you're last man standing. What's your mindset like there?
I've probably got to sleep now.
But is it like, fuck, what have I just done?
No.
Really, bro?
No, I'm going to feel rough when I walk up, but like, I'll just train tomorrow and I'll be all right, probably.
Really? Well, I'd stop at that first hurdle as soon as it gets to like bit of sunlight, bit of birds tweeting, someone's fucking looking at me a bit too much, or someone's annoying fuck at me. I'm like, yeah, I need to go. I'd book a taxi on Sly. If anybody's living my way, they can jump in. And I'd go to my house and I'd just fucking lay there thinking you. Yeah, obviously, for like 2 hours. Then after that, or whilst I'm doing that, I'd be thinking, you fucking bum. You what are you doing?
It's not good that. Like, I'd advise anyone not to go down that path, and I just think that it's a distraction tool, and then obviously the endorphins and fun partying probably
get damaged.
No, but I also think you do have high moments as well. So like, people will always remember that they won't remember how bad they feel, but they remember like, oh, I had some good times with my friends, women. Sure. You know, like I say, all the things that used to come with it. But that is a path to nowhere, unfortunately. Yeah. No, unless you're a dealer. Unless you're a dealer. But name one person who sort of come out of that and probably thought that was a positive experience. They don't, because you have to somewhat carry that label then of like, I were a severe addict. Yeah. I think that never leaves you then. You're always going to be addicted to something. Look at anyone who was an addict or addicted to something now, whatever it might be. Fighting, business, whatever, shagging women, like there's an addiction there.
But it can be used to
this is why in Think and Grow Rich, the first chapter that ever really got me thinking, that's how I think, is the one on sexual transmutation, I believe it is, i.e. taking that energy that you've got and then putting that to good, not obliterating yourself Friday to Sunday and then to repeat the cycle the weekend after. Like, put it into a worthy mission. But some people, that'll just never register in their head. Nah. And then you get to a certain point and then you have responsibilities anyway, so it's hard to then probably fucking bypass that. Yeah.
That's probably when the real struggle comes in.
Yeah. Because that's when you start not liking yourself. And then when you not start liking yourself, then you'll happily, you mentioned there, like pulling the habits out and stacking positive ones. Well, if you're in a dark space, it's probably the last thing you're thinking about, because you've probably lost all respect for yourself.
You just don't know. You just don't have the knowledge.
Either you don't know, or you just like, there's that little care and self-love for yourself that you'll self-sabotage. And that's what a lot of people do. Either willingly or unwillingly self-sabotage the self. Even if you meet us from a breakthrough. That's why they always say, don't they, like, a breakdown and a breakthrough feel very similar if you're pushing towards something that's of meaning. And it's hard to differentiate the feeling, so you could just say, you know what, fuck that. That's what I do. It's like, say with podcasts, you reach a little bit of adversity, you're just like, you know what, fucking pull plug. Just, life don't work like that. Never gets you anywhere like that. That's just what I've got to remind myself and tell myself.
100%. When you say that, I know earlier on in podcasts, when you're like, you feel like, I know you're probably not fucking too damaged about it, but you know, like, Sam Holmes has moved away, I've moved away.
Oh, it's hard.
And it obviously affects
it's hard,
you.
Mate, yeah.
Do you not think phone calls and FaceTimes to do the job now?
Not same, no.
No? Well, bro, I only live an hour away and I'm going to be back every week and we can do these.
No, but then I procrastinate travelling. That's how my brain works. It's poor way of thinking.
That 1 hour drive, if you can fucking line a good podcast up, get a good Joe Rogan on now that he's back up.
Yeah.
And just don't look at your phone. Just put the YouTube video on. Just lock in and just try not to get stressed at any drivers. I love driving, bro. That drive back tonight, whether it's in traffic or not, I'll fucking have a great time. Just get into the habit of doing a bit of travelling. It's not really
drive time, your time.
And having a different location as well. Like that come to my gym. That gym there is fucking beautiful.
Yeah, you've got to change your environment. I think that's my thing. It's like everything's just so routine. I never like that idea.
No.
Like, it's like then when you open your eyes in the morning, you know what you've got to do. It's the same every day. It's like for anyone who's disciplined, I get it. Like sometimes success is boring, or whatever you deem to be success can be boring. But end of the day, mate, life's short in it as well. So like you need to make sure that you're somewhat. Yeah, go make all the money and get all the success if you can do that, but don't have it as the detriment for like just fucking total happiness. Yeah. That's where my debate's at the minute. Yeah. But then, you know, you say, and I've spoke to a lot of high level lads who say they don't find joy in most things. That's fucking concerning as a collective.
I know, but bro, I've started finding more joy in just little stuff now. It's fucking weird because I never thought I would again. And I put that down to what we just spoke about, the years of partying, having them fucking crazy eyes. When I did the season of Beaver, bro, our eye every single night, and they were the fucking best times of my life, no doubt.
Yeah, so you're probably never going to reach that level of
that's what you think. So I will never reach that without drugs, I don't think, unless some like.
That's why you do these things, these fights and stuff like that, though.
Probably, bro. Yeah, I mean this fight's a total different thing. It's going to be good for the brand. It's going to be good because I'm going to be able to document everything that I do, which will be going from nearly 90 kilos to 75, which is a good thing to document for business and to help people. I could document the fight camp and what it's like to fight. Like we did a little bit last time, but now we're properly getting into the content side of it. It'll be a lot different. And just the fucking buzz of having something to focus on, mate. Like, it's weird for me, bro. My diet's been pretty good, but obviously I've been bulking, so I've been smashing it in. As soon as I got that call off Warren, yeah, the fight's at 75 kilo, I said, can you do 78? He's like, no, you can do 75. I'm like, sound. I won't touch bad food again. It's weird. As soon as I have something in my mind like that, I'm just fucking...
Oh, it's good, then that. That's positive.
It's definitely good, like that, and that's one of the reasons why I like to do it. But yeah, man, things are fucking... I feel like it's starting to take a little bit of a turn now. Summer's coming.
That's about weather breaks it. Everyone feels better.
Like the sun is better for everything. Content, your mood. Going instead of sitting in here and having a coffee and reading a book and be like, oh, that's pretty chilled. You get to fucking go out there and get some vitamin D.
Yeah,
that's when good habits should be created. Really, when it's warm. You can actually do ice baths. You can go on a walk late at night with your dog and it still be nice and warm when you miss this.
Yeah.
Fucking, mate, it's been a bit of a shitty winter on it. It's been cold. It's been boring.
Been a long one.
It has been a long one. But summer, mate, is the fucking one. So I feel like we just get a bit of a shit together. I don't know what your plans are for if you're going to try and tone the weed down or not, but I feel
we'll work on it. We'll work on it.
I feel like you'd be able to do it. Don't get me wrong. If you do it before you lock into work because it clears your brain up, it's going to be a fucking hard advice to quit or slow down on. But I just feel like it's a good...
I do, listen, and if you want me honest to think, I do microdose it, mate.
Microdose. Oh, yeah, no, mate, I get that.
Like I'm off at minimal effective dose.
But
I'm not like that on coffee. I fucking slammed about 4 today.
That's another thing I was talking about. If you're that person who's fucking high revving brain, bro, coffee, I don't feel like it's...
No, it's not.
No.
I the one thing I do fully agree with, and I'll try tomorrow. I'll go decaf tomorrow. Knock that on head.
Yeah,
that ain't good for me. That, mate.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, decaf's not fucking great.
Is it pointless operation?
I'll still have a decaf every day because it keeps the...
Well, I like the ritual of coffee, though, mate.
Well, you can do the ritual.
I've just got a new machine. Or
when you don't get the buzz, bro, it's disappointing.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a little bit disappointing. It doesn't taste the same. But that coffee I just had then were nice.
Stole that from a hotel.
Did you?
Coffee bag, yeah.
Posh that.
Anything else we want to close off on here? What do you think we should do regarding these? Do you think we should have a solo ones here and just sort of build this lighting set out so we could a bit more relaxed, a bit of food and chill out?
1000%, bro.
And then keep us guests at the location.
1000%. Yeah.
Like this is that mentality. Have good conversation, distribute it, run ads against it.
1000%, brother.